Yo, what's good? It's your homeboy T-Pain. Right now, at this very exact moment, you plugged in with Jay.
Plugged in with Jay right now. This is Jay O'Nash.
Turn up.
My boy Jay Perry.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
My boy, Jay the Plug.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
Jay the Plug.
You got many winners for many moons. You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
Get plugged up, everybody. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I, of course, am Jay the Plug. Welcome you back to another episode of Plugged In with Jay with a very special guest who I appreciate his patience and working with me this whole time, Mr. Kenyan Drake. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, my man. My pleasure. I know you've been extremely busy and I know you've got a lot going on, so we'll get this started and get you going on with your day. All right?
Sir, I'm ready.
All right. So where are you at now? I know you just made a transition to the Las Vegas Raiders. Are you in Vegas right now? Or are you in?
No, I'm currently in Atlanta, my hometown.
Atlanta. I'm in ATL as well, man. Yeah, over in Sandy Springs.
Dude, you said you're in Sandy Springs?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's what's up. Like we're literally in Buckhead right now. That's crazy.
Oh man, all this COVID junk, man. It's too bad. We should have made this happen in person, man.
Right. That's how ironic is the small world.
All right, my friend. So something that I always wanted to talk to you about. I'm very big into charities, and I love whenever a player works closely with charities. Tell us about your work with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Yeah, so it's perfect that you brought that up because Julia here recently got announced that she was Woman of the Year for her efforts and what she was able to raise for the charity, which was over $500,000. So,
whoa!
Definitely
Congratulations!
definitely a big shout out to her. Big dog over here. I was able to kind of do a small part along with a lot of the people that obviously is in her corner just to raise money for a great cause. So. Definitely something that I haven't personally had an impact with, but just to kind of help in any way possible to, obviously help people that are in that type of situation is something that I couldn't pass up.
That's fantastic, man. I know 500,000. That's fantastic. Any amount going toward a charity is always awesome. But hat is off to Julia. That's fantastic. I made sure to donate a little bit in there. Not probably not probably just a drop in the bucket, but tried to make sure I gave to a great cause. So
if you donated over $23, I mean, you have a picture on the way. And this I'm actually sitting here doing the picture. So this
Let's
is
go.
A picture that is currently going to be in your mail ASAP. Of literally the first picture that I guess I received in OTAs. Obviously down in the new 23 practice jersey. So limited edition.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'll be looking for it for sure. I'm a big memorabilia guy. So as you can see, I got a teammate of yours right behind me there.
So that's definitely a great jersey to get, man. Definitely a great dude.
Oh, he's a fantastic guy, man. Awesome story. I'm gonna make sure I get one of yours as well. That's for sure. So talking about whenever you first started in the league, I'm always a big I'm very curious about what draft night is like. I know you're drafted by the Dolphins in the third round of 2016. I'm always curious how that was, how it went that night. Would you mind sharing a little bit of that with us? Were you with family? How were you feeling? What was that process like?
Yeah, it was pretty cool because I wasn't expected to obviously go within the first round. So the first day was just kind of sitting around enjoying, watching the draft with family in general. So that was pretty cool. And I was actually down in Ono Island with some family friends, Gina and Kevin. They were so gracious enough to pretty much let us, have the house for the weekend. And I don't know if you know what Ono Island is, but it's down in Orange County, kind of like on the Bama-Florida line.
Okay.
So it's definitely a great spot to be if, you want to kind of have like a beach day or beach fun. And I'm a real big fan of the beach. So it was like actually pretty ironic that I got drafted by Miami. But back to the story, the next day, second, third round kind of plays out. and I'm getting idea of where I might go, but with the draft, you never know. And I kind of stepped away around the picks that I was kind of projected to kind of go, and I go down to they have a dock, and I kind of just go down there. I'm just listening to the water kind of crash. One of my homeboys, he comes down there. He's like, you good? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of like, I wasn't really nervous at first, but now I'm starting to get a little nervous. I'm just kind of chill. He's like, I just want to come and check on you. And then as soon as he said that, I get a 954, which is Fort Lauderdale area code. And at first I'm like, Fort Lauderdale, like who's calling me from Fort Lauderdale? Like, like I'm about to get drafted. Like, why they calling my number right now? And I pick it up, and it's Chris Gritter, GM for the Dolphins. He like, he introduced himself obviously, and he asked me, if I'm ready to be a Dolphin. At first I'm just kind of shocked. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm ready. And then he's like, you don't sound too excited. I'm like, no, I'm excited. I'm just completely shocked right now. Like, obviously, you obviously expect the time to come when it actually does. It was just, I was just beside myself with just how excited I was by not being excited. I don't know. It was a weird scenario. So I finally walk back up to the house. I'm on the phone, obviously cheeses from ear to ear. I'm like, it's the Dolphins. And then it's like a delay. So like 2 picks later, then I, get drafted, and it's, a big house, and everybody was excited.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love that story. It's probably the best one I've gotten so far with anybody I've been.
It was pretty cool experience, man, for sure.
That's awesome. So it seems to me that you have yet to get a fair shot at the running back one role. I mean, it's obvious to me in this case. I mean, has that built a pretty good sized chip on your shoulder to make you just to make you just go in and dominate whenever you get that opportunity?
This is how I would kind of lay it out for you. When I got to Miami, obviously we had a very capable back in Jay, who I think he ended up being like all pro that year, and obviously made the Pro Bowl, had like 3 200-yard games. He did his thing. Next year, he ended up getting traded, and Damian Williams is in front of me. We're kind of 1A, 1B. He gets hurt. I kind of end that season, on a high note with like 500 yards in like 4 games, like a few touchdowns. Kind of going to 2018, with a lot of momentum. Then they bring in Frank Gore, who is really pivotal in the maturation of my career. Just kind of watching his game. Obviously, he's a legend, a GOAT, first ballot Hall of Famer, and kind of playing with him just kind of gave me a new idea about how to play the position, how to kind of fall forward, get the extra yards when, it might not be anything there, and not try to do too much. So playing with him kind of took my career to the next level. But in that aspect, he was kind of first, second down back, and I was a third down back. So I kind of had to show my versatility in that aspect. Right. And then the next year, I kind of get traded in the middle of the season, and I go to Arizona, and I'm pretty much relied on to be the every down back. Mm-hmm. And in that aspect, I felt like I got a fair shot to do that. And obviously, I came back, after finishing that year off pretty strong in 19. In 2020, I'm the everyday first, second down back, which in my personal opinion, I don't think it fit my skill set to how I felt like I wanted it. Now, of course, I had a career year, had almost 1,000 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns in general. Right. And I was able to prove that I can be that type of back, every down, or at least how they ran me first and second down, tough yards, even with my height and, my slight build. But, I feel like I'm a tough runner. I have the ability to run the ball in any situation, and I kind of proved that. And now I feel like it's been a full circle to where I'm at now in Vegas, where I'm not necessarily going to be relied on to obviously get the tough yards, because, Josh is there to, do that. He's obviously very capable back. But, he's not going to be able to, carry the ball every play, every down, in every game. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to spell him, obviously have those first, second down touches. Get the ball in third down, catch the ball out the backfield, obviously line up even at receiver and catch the ball out the backfield in that way too. I just feel like it's going to just show my maturation through every point of my career up to this point.
Right, absolutely. And the Raiders, I've noticed they do a lot of work with dump passes to the running back out of the backfield. Like they had Richard before, and he did really well. So I can't wait to see what you're going to do there, man. So talking about Miami, the miracle in Miami, that is easily one of the best plays in NFL history, in my opinion. Was there, take me through that if you can. Take us through, like, can you can you let us know, like, was that just the play that was called, or did y'all just start lateraling and just and did it just happen? What was it like to be able to score that 54-yard touchdown on the Patriots?
Yeah, I'll give you like a little quick backstory.
All right.
So every the day before the game, we would do like a last second play. And specifically that play, it's called Boise. I guess I can, say what the play is now because, that was like 4 years ago, 3 years ago now. But it's, a hook a lateral kind of in a sense to, the university that, ran that play against Oklahoma a while ago.
Right.
And, play or not playoffs, I guess not win the playoffs, but it was a Tostitos Fiesta Bowl back then. And so we will always run that play wrong. Somebody would forget, who was supposed to catch the ball initially, a lateral or when we were supposed to pitch it. Never got it right because it wasn't the play that we always, practice. It was just the play. All right, last play of the game scenario, let's, run this play. And we'll be looking like, all right, what's it going to be? Like, we always just never really got it right. Somebody will be wrong. And literally, we practiced that play. I guess at that point, it was like week 12. I think it was for sure December. And we ran it before the day before the game, and for some reason got it right. Like the first time all year, got it right. So now everybody's kind of joking like, all right, we got it right finally. Like now, let's hope we don't have to use it. Right. Fast forward, obviously, to the next day, we're in a scenario where it comes up, and I didn't notice that Gronk was, standing, with his feet on the end zone, just because one, I don't know if you remember, but Tannehill hurt his ankle earlier in that game, or maybe a game before. I think it was that game. So he was a little hampered. And even in that aspect, he probably can tell you, I don't think he could throw the ball 70, 75 yards, you know what I mean? Because you got to get it in the end zone. It was already 69 yards, I think, to the end zone. So that means you got to throw it 70 plus to get in the end zone. I don't know if, he could throw it that far even when he was healthy. That's a long way to throw the ball.
Yeah, that's a long
way. So with them being in that scenario, it was kind of odd that they would play like that with that scenario because, like I said, we were clearly on the other side of the 50. But lo and behold, we call a play. Kenny catches it, kind of makes a little juke to get free, laterals at Devontae. And it's actually, like I said, that was the play call. Devontae catches it, and he's supposed to kind of run as far as he can until he feels like he needs to pitch it. But he caught it and pitched it immediately. So my timing was already off. I'm like, all right, I got the ball already. Like I'm running. I kind of feel Van Noy kind of like clip my ankles. And I'm like, all right, I got past that. And then, but when it touches my hands, that's the end of the script. That's the end of the play. So now I'm kind of like, all right, my brain is scrambling. Like the next thing I'm thinking like, all right, either if I throw this ball, make sure it's a lateral. And if I keep it, like, I got to find a lane. I got to hit it quick because there are people kind of, running all over me. So when I kind of cut back across the field and I was looking across the field to Danny Amendola, he was kind of backing up. And then the guys that were on that side of the field kind of backed up as well to kind of like play that. And then as I ran up, Ted Larson came and sealed off Patrick Chung as I kind of cut up the field because it just created a natural lane between the people that was on the other side of the field and then the people that were kind of close to me. So when I saw that lane, I just hit it. And that's when I saw Gronk. And I was just like, literally my first thought was like, why is Gronk out here? Like, that was really my first thought. Because I'm thinking like, I had to probably like, maybe beat a safety. And that was going to obviously be a lot harder than trying to run past, obviously Gronk is a Hall of Fame tight end. He, nobody disputes that, but he wasn't going to be known for tackling me. Right. So I got about to the 20, I just hit it. And, I guess everything else speaks for itself because I got in the end zone and game over.
That's excellent, man. Yeah, the rest is history.
Sure.
Now, you were recently acquired by the Las Vegas Raiders, as we stated before. What are the differences that you've already seen with the Raiders compared to the other teams that you've been on, like, say, Arizona? Anything big?
Not necessarily. I mean, obviously, there are going to be differences in personnel.
Sure.
It's a completely different team. The only difference I can really see, and that's just kind of like sticking out to me just because is kind of obvious, is just the experience in terms of the head coach with obviously Gruden having the experience he has versus, Cliff, being a young coach,
Sure.
and then Kyler being a young quarterback and Derek obviously being an older quarterback. And it's not like it really necessarily takes away from them being younger versus them being older. It's just, I just see the experience. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm there. I see that in any given situation with just their camaraderie, how, even in the offensive meeting room where, Gruden could be saying something and alluding on something to do with a play, and pretty much Derek can finish the sentence for him and be like, oh, this is what you're looking for or whatever. And it's just, it's just, like I said, it's just their chemistry because they played together for a while, or, coached and played with each other for a while, been in the league for, some odd years. Obviously, Gruden been in the league since the 90s, when he always alludes back to coaching Green Bay. I think he was a receiver coach back then. And I didn't know he even coached back then that long ago. So, that's just, the experience in that realm just, it sticks out to me. I'm not saying that obviously they're going to have success because Kyler is a, dynamic weapon, and, Kingsbury is obviously a inept play caller, but, the experience is just the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What's it like being able to talk with John Gruden? Knock on wood if you're with me. That's
yeah, literally, like, and it's funny because like the longer I'm there, the more like I'm just used to it. And like people like don't even like, people are knock on wood just for anything. Like if it's something that somebody says that's funny or whatever, like people just knocking on wood, you know what I mean? And I kind of catch myself like out in public, like, or like with my friends. And like if somebody says a joke or somebody says something, I'm just like kind of like knocking on wood. And I do it just like out of habit now. So it's just funny that I'm kind of in that cultural mode, I guess.
Right. Now, I've had some of your teammates on the show, friend of the show, and actually a friend now, Mr. Waller there, just had a interview with Trent Sig yesterday. Great guy. They're extremely excited to have you on the team. We were talking about that, and I got really excited whenever Julia reached out and said, "Hey, we're going to have him on the show." I couldn't wait. So, whenever I was talking to Darren before, I asked him, what should is there anything I should talk about with him? Anything, which is something I already decided I wanted to bring up, but the transition from Arizona to the Las Vegas scheme, which it's kind of what you just went over though. Like, I mean, how's the transition been as far as the scheme goes? Because I've heard they're going to be using you a lot in Vegas.
Yeah, no, I mean, Gruden has pretty much laid out the game plan and has just allowed me to kind of fully immerse myself in the offense. Kind of have me all over the place, to be honest, not to get in too many specifics, but just all over the place. Derek and, all the other running backs in the room, even the receivers, they're all pretty much hands on deck with helping me kind of just be as comfortable as possible. They understand that I'm going to come in and have a big role in the offense, and that, I'm going to help add to the success that they already had last year, with being obviously, I think, like a top 10 offense. Mm-hmm. And I just want to continue to, boost that and more, because obviously we have bigger goals and, statistical goals. We want to, make the playoffs and, make a run from there. And I haven't been to the playoffs since my rookie season in Miami, and coming from Bama, after going to the playoffs my first year, I'm like, I mean, I can do this every year and haven't sniffed it since. So, that's just kind of the fleeting nature of, the league, and, how every game is a game within itself. You got to go out there and take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of you, because you never know when you'll get that same opportunity again.
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, I'm big into fantasy football. A lot of the guys are saying, ask him what kind of snap share he's going to receive. I don't know if you can really go into that.
I to be honest, I don't even know what that means.
What percentage of snaps are you going to get?
Oh yeah, I definitely couldn't tell you specifically what that is. I mean, not saying I'm not a fan of fantasy football. I'm just more of a fan of the real thing.
I totally understand. That was actually going to be one of my questions, is what your thoughts are on fantasy football. Yeah. I spoke with Marcus Allen before. He was actually my very first interview, another Raider. And I asked him that question, and he answered it real politically. He loves anything that brings, attention to the game and stuff. So, That's always one of the best ways to answer that politically.
No, for sure. I mean, and that's actually something that I talked about with somebody else too. Actually, when I was in Hawaii, met some people out there that were just real welcoming to, just showing me around kind of the area because I had never been to Oahu, Honolulu specifically, and I was out there by myself. And Julie actually kind of got a great itinerary and met some great people and just kind of really live almost like a local life. But I was specifically talking to them about fantasy football because one, in Hawaii, there's obviously no NFL team out there. So they kind of just follow players in general or the best team that's going on right now. And obviously fantasy football with it being so big now, it kind of gives people, who don't have, I guess, a specific team to stake for something to kind of, be in the game. And I definitely feel like that is something that fantasy football has done for the game. It's obviously brought, tremendous revenue from people that maybe wouldn't have been interested in the game itself. And then also just, brings more awareness to, players, teams, it's just really good for the game. Now obviously with everything that's good, people are gonna stretch, that good out and, create whatever type of issue, press people about, going out there and getting points or whatever and whatever. So it's a spectrum to everything.
Yeah, understood. Absolutely. Have you ever played fantasy before?
Actually, when I was in college, I played, but I always forgot to like sub out the players that, were on bye weeks. And I would like lose like a game by like 10 points or something because a guy that was on a bye week didn't play and he didn't obviously give me any points. And if somebody on my bench maybe got like 20 and I'll just be like, I don't have enough time to dedicate to this.
Yeah, it does take up some time, man, especially whenever you got to
Mhm.
pick players up and do all that. My wife hates it. So,
Mhm. Yeah, that would be the worst part is like you may have like the best waiver and like you miss it because you weren't there to accept it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, whatever. I'm
yeah,
good.
there's so many times I've missed it because I'm just trying not to piss my wife off, man. Happy wife, happy life. So whenever
Exactly. No, I feel
guys,
you.
guys in
Hey,
the league,
priorities for sure.
exactly, priorities for sure. Yeah, I tell the guys in the league, listen, she wins over everything. So if I'm gonna get in trouble, I'm just gonna go ahead and have to pass up on the waiver. So if I look
Right,
bad, then
exactly.
it is what it is.
I feel you.
We're almost done, my man. I've just got two more questions for you. One of them is one of the tougher questions to answer. Do you have a specific memory that you always check back to that you've experienced in the NFL? Is there anything like a favorite memory that you've had so far?
Um,
It's always tough to answer. So I know.
Besides, I don't want to like be a cop out and just say the Miami Miracle, but
I
that
totally
was
get
pretty
that.
cool. The only thing about that is that it really didn't. I mean, it was a great time, but I'm a realist, I guess, when it comes to the whole situation because we were in playoff contention and we lost like the last like 3 games, like 3, 4 straight games, and didn't make the playoffs. And then the Patriots still won a Super Bowl, so it was just like it was just like, well, what was it for? Obviously, it was still a great moment. I get to share it with a lot of Miami fans and obviously NFL fans. But like, I always think about that specifically. I'm just like, like, well, it is
Almost
what it
bittersweet.
is. Right, exactly. But specifically, I think it would be my first game in Arizona when I got traded on a Monday. Chris Greer called me in my bed at like 8 a.m. and is like, you're getting traded to Arizona, which wasn't on my radar at all. I had a few teams that was on my radar, and that wasn't one of the teams. So it was just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm going clear cross country. Cool. Like it was nice. It was definitely a weird, but I was like, okay, I'm welcome to this. So then I get traded and I land in Arizona on Monday at like 5 or 6 their time, and literally go straight into meetings with my running back coach, like of all the basics, of all the ins and outs of like protection, like schemes, just things like that. Then I meet the players the next day. They're all very welcoming, like we're just welcome to the team, like welcome me with open arms. That made me feel very comfortable. And literally 2 days later, I'm playing on Thursday night on a national televised game against at the time, the best team in the league because they were undefeated. And I went out there and ran for over 100 yards and a touchdown on really not knowing the scheme. It was just, it almost kind of reminded me of like the simplicity of football and how when you just, I mean, for lack of a better phrase, dumb it down to the basics. You just go out there, have fun. You can just have you can have the most success that you want. You know what I mean? And I'll always remember that moment and kind of try to reciprocate how I felt going into that because I wasn't nervous. I was just like, how could I be nervous when I really didn't have any expectations? I was like, I'm here on 3 days notice. Like, I'm just go out here and play ball. And I just want to use that energy that I had for the rest of my career. Just, regardless of whatever situation, it could be the Super Bowl, it could be 4th and 1 to win the game. Like, regardless, I'm here to have fun and just do the best I can.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, man, this here is because of you. So thank you. I don't know if you see that championship ring. You were on my team. I started you that game and you killed it.
That's what's up. Hey, and look, kudos to you for starting a guy that came in on 3 days notice against obviously, I think at that time, like the best like run defense in the league. So like you had some big kahunas. Not gonna lie.
Man, I'm telling you, man, I've been a Kenyan Drake truther, still am. Can't wait to watch you on the Raiders, man. I cannot wait. One last thing. Do you have any passions outside of football?
Yeah, I'm a big astronomy guy. Used to ask my dad to get me little telescopes and things of that sort when I was younger. Used to be online watching like NASA like broadcasts or looking up like constellations and trying to remember like going out and the stars that I see in the city. That's the Big Dipper, that's the Rise of Belt, or that's so and so. And now that I'm kind of older, and actually went out to Maui 2 years ago, 19, yeah, so 2 years ago, and like went to this one spot. My friend out there took us to this one spot, and I tell you, I saw them like I don't think I've ever gotten emotional like that because it was so many stars that I was like, I didn't know you could see this many stars like on Earth, you know what I mean? And it was a great moment for me. And now I've literally been chasing that feeling like forever. Like I'm just like every time I look up at the stars, I'm like, oh, you're teasing me. Like you got way more for me than that. So I'm just, I love the stars. I love the concept of how small we are in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of it. So yeah, that's probably one of my passions.
That's fantastic, man. Yeah, getting out in God's creation definitely gets me emotional as well, man. Just seeing everything and taking it all in. It's a beautiful, amazing thing.
Yeah,
It's
no
funny
doubt.
you say that you're into that. Like Trent Sig that I spoke with yesterday, he's into rocketry, man. Y'all need to get together,
Really?
put something up, get y'all the first players into the
Well, yeah.
into
See,
space.
the difference between what he is into and what I'm
Right.
into just like being immersed in it, looking at
Right.
it, being
Taking
a
it
part
all.
of it. He has the math behind it. So maybe my passion and his intelligence, his intellect can mix together and then we can make something happen.
Yeah, he might be able to get you a little bit closer, man.
Right, exactly.
Well, my friend, thank you again so much, Mr. Kenyan Drake, for joining the show. That is all I've got for you, my friend. Do you have anything that you'd like to promote before we let you go?
Um, well, I'm always working with a Smile Train, so definitely want to give a shout out to Smile Train, and the people that kind of we got some little kids that are kind of running back and forth
Julia?
right now. But yeah, just kind of always give a shout out and love the Smile Train. They always do a great job kind of promoting the things that I love. And obviously I love, giving support to them. They've taken me really all over the world to Brazil to see patients down there and people afflicted by it, and to Mexico City, which is also a great time. And then also I work with the Boys and Girls Club locally and nationally. Now I'm going to be in Vegas. I want to definitely eventually reach out to a local club there and kind of get involved like I was in Phoenix and Miami.
All right. Awesome. Anybody out there, take a look at Smile Train, Google it. If there's a website, go take a look at it. Make sure you check it. Always the Boys and Girls Club is a fantastic organization. Well, Mr. Drake, thank you so much for being on the show. It was an absolute pleasure having you on. Can't wait to man. Maybe we'll run into each other in ATL. Maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a small world. Apparently, I did not know you in Sandy Springs. That's literally right up the road, man. Oh, actually, also shameless plug. I got a website with merchandise. www.thekenyandrake.com. Have merchandise on there that actually benefits Smile Train, and most of it is pretty much the silver and black right now. I think we took off Miami colored gear and Cardinals color gear. So, I mean, silver and black goes with obviously anything. So go mix and match and, see what you like.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I was telling Darren earlier today, I was like, man, I've been a Saints fan since I was a kid. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana originally.
Okay.
I told him, I was like, man, I have yet to have one Saint on the show, and I've already got 4 Raiders. Y'all are about to take over that number 1 spot, man. Go
Oh
from
yeah, I
black
mean,
and
look, you
gold to
got the
black and
8-3 in the
silver.
back, man. I couldn't have guessed if you wasn't a Raiders fan or not.
Yeah, man. Got a rep for y'all for sure. But all right, my friend. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you, man. And we will talk to you later on. You have a good day, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate you.